Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to show you how I repainted this cool little 8080 walker that I just picked up online. And at the same time I'm going to give it a Hoth inspired base that it can call its new home. The first thing to do is to prime the entire model with some black surface primer from Vallejo. I just took my time using the airbrush and made sure I applied a nice even coat. I then moved on to applying a lighter shade of primer in the centre of each panel on the model. This is going to give us a really nice panel fade when we apply the base coat. I then base coated the entire model with some of Vallejo's engine grey. Then using an old makeup brush and some light grey acrylic paint, I gave it a really heavy dry brush just to make all the details pop. Then to tie everything together, I gave it all a wash with some Nuln oil from Games Workshop. And while everything was drying, I could then concentrate on working on the base. This is a lid from the top of an old candle, and it was the perfect size for what I needed. I just had to make sure that I took it when my wife was at work. After filling all the gaps with some wood filler, I used some sandpaper to get a nice smooth finish that was ready for paint. Once the primer on the base had dried, I applied a few felt pads to make sure the base had plenty of grip. Then it was time to start work on that all-important Hoth snow. I started by mixing in some Woodland Scenics soft flake snow with some Mod Podge. This is about a 1:1 ratio. Then using a palette knife, I could then start to apply the mixture all over the base. I applied the snow in layers, working on a little area at a time, just so I could make sure there was enough depth to the snow. I created one small footprint in the snow while it was still wet before setting the walker in place permanently. Then I sprinkled over some of the loose snow over the top of the wet mixture. Then it was time to add some more detail, like this tiny 3D printed snowspeeder. I printed and painted a bunch of these speeders out some time ago, so I've saved myself a bit of a job because this one's ready to go. I found the files for these on Thingiverse, so I'll pop a link in the description if anyone wants to check them out. I superglued a small piece of wire to the bottom of the speeder and then painted it white so I could attach it to the base. Using a small pick, I marked out a hole where I could attach the snowspeeder. I used a small dab of glue and attached the speeder in place. The speeder is a little out of scale compared to the walker, but I think it does a good enough job. I used some thin narrow gauge wire that I had to model the tow cable that would be coming out the back of the snowspeeder. I simply mocked it up into a rough shape of what I needed and then gave it a blast of primer with the airbrush. Then it was time for the really fiddly job of attaching the cable to the walker and the speeder. With a little bit of patience and a couple of dabs of super glue, this job was over in no time.
Steady rope 2. Activate harpoon. Good shot, Jansen.
Then my mini Battle of Hoth Diorama was finished. So if you enjoyed this video, maybe you enjoy some of my other Star Wars builds. And to stay up to date with any other projects I'm working on, be sure to check out my Instagram. But as always, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.